Hello, and welcome to the Psychic Wave podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Sanderson, and this is podcast number 42. On this podcast, I had DCHAV. There's many names that people say when they look at this band name, DCHAV, but DCHAV is what we've concluded it's supposed to sound like, so DCHAV. And again, I heard about this musician, artist, band through Nani of Bundy. Thank you so much. He's got a great podcast. Go check it out. Subscribe to that. But DCHAV came by actually at the very end of the 41st episode of the Psychic Wave podcast when I was interviewing New American. And he happened to know them, which is really funny because he knocked on the door as we were recording. And it's just really great meeting bands that know each other and kind of have a history. DCHAV is a Long Beach local, and it was really great talking to him about a lot of stuff. I kind of, at this point, I've been drinking at that point. It's really fun. I feel like I've said fun 8 different times in this intro. Anyway, this podcast is brought to you by Melissa's Hair Extensions. Do you have short hair? Do you want long hair? Are you jealous of Robert Plant and all the rock gods? Well, guess what? You don't have to be jealous of their cock imprint on their pants. No. Be jealous of their hair. And don't stay jealous of their hair. Take their hair with Melissa's Hair Imprints. Thanks again to our sponsors, and please enjoy podcast number 42. All right, so this is the 42nd episode of the Psychic Wave podcast, and I'm with DCHAV.
Hey, how's it going? What's up,
DCHAV. And DCHAV, you were brought to my attention just like the last band that I just had here that you happen to know, New American. Mm-hmm. You were brought to my attention by Nani of Bundy.
Hell yeah, dude, Nani's the homie, so to speak, you know?
Yeah, so how do you know Nani?
Okay, you know actually how I know him? And I wonder if he remembers this. He played at Rebel Bite, which I have a history with. I could tell you later if you want. He played at Rebel Bite with a band called the Bottled Spirits, and that was like, how many years ago? 12?
Where is this?
Less than that.
Where's Rebel Bite?
6 years ago. Rebel Bite is downtown Long Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to work over there. I booked some music over there. And he played over there with Bottled Spirits. I don't think I saw him for a few years after that. And then all of a sudden, started hearing about Bundy. And then went and saw them play.
Was that when he was playing with Boogie Mamas?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard him talk that was one of his old bands. I don't know who's in that, but I know that was his old band.
Okay.
So
I've heard that name. I think I saw a flyer. They just did a reunion.
Yeah, they're doing a show pretty soon.
Okay.
But so you and Nani have been in Long Beach for over 10 years?
Well, I misspoke. I meant more like 6 years ago or so, not 12 years ago. That's
still pretty damn close. I mean, 6 isn't close to 12, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. The half of that.
Yeah. So Long Beach Cats, that's where you guys are from.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, he's great, and we can get into him more later. I'm sure he'll come up. He always does.
Well, I'm not originally from Long Beach.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from the Bay Area.
Oh, really?
It's not technically the Bay Area, but Santa Clara County, Gilroy, California.
Yeah. I passed through there a few times. I've got family near there.
Oh, yeah, where?
That's near like Los Gatos, right? As well?
Kind of. Yeah, I mean, that's not that far.
Maybe I'm not.
No, I mean,
I've got family
pretty
around
close.
there.
It's arguably close.
No. Los Gatos is more near like Santa Ynez and stuff like that, right?
Look, I don't know. It's something like half an hour, 40 minutes.
You're from more north.
No, it's actually, damn, let's see. That would be
north of here.
Southwest. Oh yeah, north of here, but that'd be southeast of Los Gatos, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Unless I just
But you grew up like Gilroy area?
Yeah, exactly. From Gilroy, born and raised.
Is that where you started playing music?
Yeah, for the most part.
What did you start with?
What did I start with? The clarinet.
Really?
Yeah.
I always hear those stories, and so that was in school.
That was in school.
I'm assuming.
Yeah. But you know what's funny is when you say that, it kind of brings to mind, memories flash before my eyes. And what I think of is actually doing it more so at home than at school. Like I definitely have the memories of playing clarinet at school, but most of the memories are playing clarinet at home.
Okay, because the practicing part, or
Yeah,
was
exactly.
Can you still play the clarinet pretty well?
No.
No?
I mean, I still have the clarinet. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
actually my mom's clarinet.
Oh, okay.
I still have it too.
That's crazy. I remember my auntie, she played clarinet, and she was like okay at it, but it's just one of those funny things where a lot of people, I think you either start with clarinet or you start with piano. A lot of people.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, there's a lot of instruments you can start with. For me, I guess I always saw people starting with the flute.
Yeah, that one too.
The flute, the clarinet. That was kind of it at our school. We didn't have many other choices.
What age is this when you started doing that?
4th grade. So what's that, like 9?
Yeah, about.
Yeah.
So when did you move down here?
2007. Yeah.
College? Did you move down here for college?
For college, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
You go to Long Beach?
Cal State Long Beach. Yeah, music department.
Crazy. So you studied music the whole time?
Well, I mean, not literally the entire time. Like the way it all works out for that is long and boring. You know, you spend a lot of time. You know how it is doing GED, which actually I fucking love doing. But
I don't know how it is. I didn't really go to college.
Oh, okay, for sure.
But I'm aware of how that works.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take GED classes and all that, and you don't play music the entire time. Definitely played more like on my own than I did in school. You know, well, I got my degree in composition.
Okay.
Well, how'd you know I went to Cal State Long Beach?
I mean, I just guessed because you're a Long Beach cat.
Oh, okay.
So I was like,
well, how'd you know I studied music?
Well, okay, so I didn't study anything at all. I just picked up stuff and played, but I assumed that because you played clarinet at a young age and it was part of a school curriculum, that it would not be so far-fetched for you to have studied music more along that path.
Okay. I guess, yeah.
And you're doing music now, so I assumed it stayed with you from then till now.
Oh, I mean, definitely. You know, I kind of skipped an entire part of that, though. If you want me to go back a little bit.
Yeah, do it.
I was in choir for.
Yeah, because you sing for DCHAV.
Yeah, it's my band essentially, DCHAV, Daniel Chavez. But I got started singing in choir. My friend Steven Heisey started doing choir, and I was like teasing him and stuff like that, like, "Oh, you're singing choir, choir." And then he got me to eventually go. I think, you know, there's a classic story. I think the girl I liked was also singing in choir at the time.
Yeah.
And so one thing led to another, and I just ended up being in choir for the rest of high school. So that was like the last 3 years of high school, and that took me to college. I ended up getting into Cal State Long Beach for my vocal major over there.
Oh, wow.
And that, you know, that was cool. It was great. I loved it and everything like that. But what I really wanted to do is write music, which I, you know, got my degree in composition. But so there was a lot that led up to getting to that point.
Dude, that blows my mind. I'm so illiterate when it comes to the actual theory and writing and composition of music. I tried to get my dad. He was in a band. My dad's very creative and a musician and just super creative, but he just learned by playing. Didn't know any theory or anything like that. So when I asked for classes, he said, "Why? Just play. Make something sound good."
Well, hey, man, I totally agree with that.
I'm amazed by people like you who do study music, because it's a thing that I know I will probably take more time to study in the future. But people like you amaze me, because I got so bored of studying music theory. And so for somebody like you who's very creative and have been doing it for so long, it makes me feel like you must be truly, truly inspired by the music. It's hard for me to be inspired and to study it at the same time.
I mean, I guess it's the sort of thing that I can't take myself out of my own experience enough to really have an objective view on it, but I think that's inside everybody. I think that it's just like it's the same thing as talking and writing down the language that you're talking. And like you said, it's all about just taking the time, like learning how to do it. I think everyone can do it. It's all right there for any given person to learn. But also at the same time, I really don't care about all that stuff for
Yeah,
the
well,
most part. Like honestly, it's a tool to help you get from point A to point B.
Sure.
But the point is getting from point A to point B.
Right. As creatively as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you move from, did you have an in-between spot, or was it like Gilroy right to Long Beach?
Gilroy right to Long Beach.
So
yeah.
how different, or what was Long Beach like at the time, and how different was that from where you grew up?
How different was Long Beach at the time? At the time?
Yeah, and like, so you had lived in Gilroy.
Yeah.
And then you go to college down there. And like, just what was Long Beach like at that time, 2006? And was it super fucking like different from Gilroy?
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I was 18, so like I wasn't old enough to go to the bars and stuff, I guess.
Right.
Think back on that. So to compare with my experience of Long Beach from today back 28 years ago, or
No, I know what you mean.
8 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of hard to do because like I was in college, like I was living in the dorms and stuff like that.
Right.
But from what I feel like, there was way more of an emphasis on like indie folk rock and stuff like that. Like that was really popular
Around your college days.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Okay.
Arcade Fire was really popular back then. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to be Arcade Fire. Everyone wanted to be Arcade Fire. You know? But yeah, shit. That's fun to think about.
It's fun to reflect, isn't it?
Yeah, dude.
Nostalgia is a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great feeling, but at the same time makes you a little teary-eyed, doesn't
A little
it?
teary-eyed, a little wistful.
But yeah. So what was there any music scene in Gilroy at all?
You know what? I have an interesting story to tell you.
Yeah.
That's pretty ridiculous. But to answer your question first, because it leads up to it, yes, there fucking was a good music scene in Gilroy. And
Nice.
there probably still is. And in some ways, it's like in some ways, it's like the underground of the underground scene because no one fucking knows about it because Gilroy is such a little insular town.
Yeah.
There's other cities around it. There's plenty of people to meet outside of Gilroy close by, but Gilroy itself is really insular.
Literally, the only reason I know about it is because I've passed through it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just on the 101.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a band. There were several bands. One of which I'll plug real quick is my friend's band Primo Major, formerly known as 1989, and they're going to be doing their first tour down here, which is awesome because they've been the same group of dudes. They've added one person, but it's been the same group of dudes since we were 18 years old, pretty much.
Wow. It's
yeah.
hard to do.
Yeah, I mean it's fucking great. They're just all friends and everything like that, and I think that's what means the most. But they're going to be down here for the first time in July, so you know more about that. But
Primo Major.
It's
It's a great name.
What was I getting at? What's my train of
Well,
thought?
you were just getting at what the music was. There music scene in Gilroy.
So there was them. There was like the bands that I was in. We had other friends that were playing in bands, of course. That was mostly like kind of getting into that like indie rock vibe. Like my band had like a rapper and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was called the Inevitable Zombie Apocalypse.
Inevitable?
The Inevitable.
Oh, Inevitable.
Zombie.
The Inevitable. There's no way I'm saying that.
The Inevitable Zombie Apocalypse.
The Inevitable Zombie Apocalypse.
There you go.
Wow, people aren't going to forget that name.
Yeah, I mean that was.
But you had a rapper?
Yeah, I had a rapper.
And this is all in Gilroy.
Yeah, Josh Katihi.
Okay.
That was the rapper's name. What's up, Josh? You hear this? You might hear this. Yeah. But there was a scene, and I remember coming back a couple of years after I moved down here, and going to like a garage party, and there was this awesome band playing, and they weren't together for very long. I remember trying to book a show with them. They're called Earthquake Weather. Yeah, I mean I don't know who was in that or anything, but yes, there is a scene there, you know, but it's lacking places to play, just like most.
What's there
places.
like one venue?
Right now, there's not even that. Like there was one, like
So just bars.
I mean, if you could even get into a bar there, like that's really lacking. Like it's really
House parties then? How do you guys play?
You can probably get away with house parties out there for the most part, way more than out here for sure. You know, but yeah, it's fucking whack.
Wow. But good bands out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you moved down to Long Beach, were you immediately in a band down here?
No, at the time I was doing the Francis James. which
is that? What is that? The Francis James?
That was what I was going by at the time.
Oh, the
as
band.
as my musical persona.
Your solo project was the Francis James?
I was listening to a lot of Jack Johnson and Nora Jones at the time. And I still listen to a lot of Nora Jones.
Trying to get pussy, are you? That's what you were trying to do when you came to college.
All about that, man.
I get, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love Nora Jones. Still love
Jack Nora Jones is fucking amazing. Jack Johnson, I could take or leave, but...
It depends on what mood I'm in, you know. Sometimes I don't want banana
As soon as he
pancakes.
had that lyric "bubbly toes," I just was out. I was like, I'm not about. That's the weirdest.
I'm not about the bubbly toes either.
Anyway, but so the Francis James.
It was just me. It was like I watched the movie Walk the Line too many times.
It's a great movie, though.
It's a great movie. I watched that too many times. I was like,
That's what got me into Johnny Cash.
I want to play the acoustic guitar and
I
want to sing my songs, write these dramatic lyrics.
It's a very traditional and like exposing way of playing music, acoustic guitar and writing lyrics that way.
Oh,
it's super. The songs that I love the most that I've ever written started on acoustic guitar and moved into me figuring out how to do it with an electric guitar. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
I could say the same thing.
It starts with an acoustic. Mm-hmm. So I'm not shitting on the Francis James at all, but yeah,
maybe I am.
It's still where I start all my songs, always.
Cool, man.
So were you getting a lot of pussy by doing that?
Was I getting a lot of pussy from doing the Francis James?
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yes.
Let's just say that that's been redacted from the record.
Yeah. You have a girlfriend now? Yeah, so
that was a long time ago. She didn't even live in the state at the time.
Okay.
My girlfriend is from Kansas.
What happens in the Francis James stays in the Francis James.
Yep. But now I'll give a shout out to Katie Jo and the Mijos. That's my girlfriend's band.
Oh, okay. So yeah, this is something interesting. Your girl plays in a country band.
Mm-hmm. I play bass in the band.
And Nani, the reason why I know this is because he brought it up. He's having both of you on the podcast, like almost back to back.
Oh, cool. Right, yeah.
And so she plays in a country band, and you do your own music. But where was I going? Anyway, it's only interesting to me because I heard Nani say that you guys both play music. Did you meet it in Cal State Long Beach?
We actually met at Rebel Bite.
Okay.
The place I was telling you about before. I was playing in the band Carl at the time. Carl with question mark, Karl question mark.
Carl?
Exactly. Hey, that was great. Yeah. We used to really love when people different ways people would say that. Because
what are the different ways?
I mean, everyone has their own unique way. The first time they hear Carl, or they see that Carl.
Yeah.
But
I like being super dramatic.
Oh yeah,
with my exclamation or
you have to be
question marks.
That's what those are for. That's what they're there for.
Yeah,
you can do the same with commas.
Yeah, commas play a big fucking role.
Yeah,
don't they?
Yeah.
Anyway, so sorry for those that don't know. I'll probably explain this before we get into this podcast, like my little intro to it. But I have been drinking with the New American Band. And so if I'm not keeping a timeline here, I apologize.
Hey, it's all good. I've definitely had my fair share.
I'm having a lot of fun with you though. And so I'm trying to keep some sort of timeline. So you're at Cal State Long Beach. You're doing the Francis James. And what moved you out of that and into... Is it DCHAV or DCHAV? Because your name is Daniel Chavez.
Yeah,
So it should be DCHAV, right?
That's how it started.
Okay, DCHAV.
DCHAV. Honestly, my preference now has become what started as a joke. DCHAV.
DCHAV.
That's become my preference personally.
Really?
Yeah, but it started as a joke. A joke.
Yeah, DCHAV.
The joke, if you will.
Yeah.
And
DCHAV is the joke.
I like that one because it sounds like a mustard.
Dijon.
Dijon.
It sounds French. Yeah, it's a French
thing.
Yeah,
right. It sounds kind of cool, but no, it's DCHAV, or it's whatever you want for the most part.
I'm really Southern California, so I said DCHAV.
DCHAV. You know, well, if you rearrange the letters in it, you could spell VCHAD.
What does that mean?
See, VCHAD.
No, I know, but what does VCHAV
It doesn't mean
mean?
anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
But
you can also spell
But you know,
doesn't-
I've always wondered when this would be something that I say to other people, but like everyone in the band, we refer to each other as Chad for that reason.
Everyone calls each other Chad?
Yeah, what's up, Chad?
How
Chad.
do you-
And then
So
there's
only
like
when you're
Johnny
saying
B.
hi to-
Chad.
Oh, okay.
There's Johnny B. Chad. There's
You guys all have nicknames in your
Chasley.
band? That's so fucking tight.
yeah. You want to hear him?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we get there? Because you wanted to keep the timeline. We can. You asked me a question,
Sure.
and I keep getting distracted.
So
from the
when did
question.
you go from the Francis James to DCHAV?
Okay, so
That's
that
what you
whole
want.
progression.
That was the worst laugh I've ever
That whole
done.
progression took a span of a few years. You know, a good amount of years. Long story short, the three biggest bands that in my life prior to DCHAV. It sounds like I sound like a d-bag when I say it though. For DCHAV.
DCHAV. No, dude, I like it. Fuck it.
It's
your project.
we're Thy Squid first and foremost. Then Carl second and foremost. That doesn't mean that's irrelevant. The foremost thing. And then Toxic Shock Syndrome (TSS).
Ooh, that's a good one.
So Thy Squid, that's Kai Kaner and Matt Hill. That's like a psych punk band. We started. What was that? It must have been 2009.
I'm already in.
We just had our
Psych punk.
Dude, I hope you like it. I'll send you some links later on.
Yeah.
We just had our last show a couple of weeks ago at the Prospector. So we're just gonna wither and die from here. But then my other band, Carl.
Nah, man, the internet exists. You'll never die.
Hey, maybe. I don't know.
Carl?
Yeah, but Carl started soon after that. Let's see, like 2010 maybe, and that was me being like, "Hey, I want to do my own thing, play guitar," because I was playing bass in Thy Squid. And that's Rebecca Lynn, Michael Malinowski, Nick Gonzalez, Alex Mastrovito. That was like R&B meets the Mars Volta. Like we used to say
dude.
like Isley Brothers meets the Mars Volta. That's kind of how we always like talked about it.
Good God. Do I love the Mars Volta?
And dude, Isley Brothers, fuck.
Oh, man.
But
That sounds
that's,
like a great band. I hope you do send me those links.
Yeah,
Them Squid?
that,
Them Squid?
Thy Squid.
Thy Squid.
You got to
Okay.
do the
Thy.
Thy Squid like it's through your hands, you know,
Okay.
the tentacle.
Yeah.
But yeah, Toxic Shock Syndrome. You know what? Toxic Shock Syndrome was actually before all of those and is still going. That's the longest standing one.
So basically what you're explaining to me is that you were in college, you were meeting a lot of new people, you were playing in a lot of different projects, and then eventually, after all these things, you decided to like reform what your solo project would be, and that ended up being... There's 3 different ways I can say your band name now. I don't know which one to pick.
Well,
DCHAV, DCHAV, DCHAV.
To sum it up, if I may, because there's too many memories and too many feelings, you know, from all those experiences. It's just that the lessons I've learned have been, don't necessarily think one thing is one thing because it very well may be another, and just be with your friends and do what you want to do.
Right.
That's the bottom line of it.
You just like playing music.
Exactly, and that's the fucking point. Like, there's no other point than that, and anything else than that is just sending you down a path that's not,
Yeah, man.
appropriate.
The arts is a very warm and accepting place to be. And I think people don't realize that it's that wonderful to be a part of just anybody's art project.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So you've rotated through a lot of bands. How does DCHAV
How does that come into it then?
No, not even how does that come into it. We're into it now. You're in this band. How is this band different from the other ones for you? What is this band sound to you? How is it different to you? What does it mean to you?
You know, this band for me is the first time that I've been able to just say to myself, you know, I'm gonna put it out there, like just me. I'm not gonna put another name on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna rely on other people. Like, of course, I have like my crew, you know, and everything. Like, I definitely rely on them for a lot. But when it comes down to being the project, like, this is something that I recognize that I'm probably the only person that's ever gonna care as much as as I do, which I think is an important step for every artist to get to. That being said, like you got to keep those friends close too. Like shout out to Madman Medina in particular and Billy Camacho and everyone in the band, of course, but like those two in particular just right now have been right there with me every step of that way. And it's amazing. So
this one's more personal for you.
This one's much more personal because for me, I get to just say this is me. Like these are my songs. I'm putting what I am choosing to put out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Like in terms of lyrics in particular, like for the songs that I'm writing right now, we all have the opportunity every day to see the bad things that happen in any given moment, and we all have the opportunity to see the good things. And I really am starting to believe firmly the more I think about it that, you know, from a young age, just like think about our demographic, like our people right now.
How old are you?
29.
Okay.
Yeah, how old are you?
How old do you think I am?
Ooh,
there's no wrong
20,
answer.
26.
I'm not very offended by
26.
much. 24.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, okay.
Okay, anyway.
I still consider myself part of your age.
We both were. We both went to school in the public. Did you go to the public school system? I shouldn't assume. I'm sorry.
I did until high school, and then I fucked up super hard and they sent me to private school. Anyway, I get
public school system.
A lot of,
we're taught to find problems in things. We're taught to find what's wrong in this equation, what's wrong in this sentence, what's wrong here, what's wrong there.
Yeah.
And so like we carry that with us every day. I think about that a lot. And the more you just choose to find those positive things.
Dude, that's like, I've had a lot of conversations with people, but that is something that nobody has ever brought to my attention.
Cool,
like
right
that we're trained to find the problem and not trained to find the positive. That was, has anybody brought that up to you, Tess? That was really eloquent. That was crazy.
Hey, that's cool. I've been thinking about that a lot. So
nobody,
I've never, my brain like
that like really was weird for me. I've never thought about that.
Cool.
Wow.
Dude, I right on. The point being, just bring it back. The lyrics on this in particular. I was
on Eucalyptus.
On Eucalyptus and a lot of stuff that's going to come out in this next release we're working on now. Very much so from a place of sadness and a place of like, you know, heartache and realizing that you brought your own problems on yourself, but still trying to find the ability to phrase that in a way to either manifest the positive of what you want or to really just see that bigger experience. Does that make sense?
I totally agree with you, and I'm only looking at my phone right now to kind of agree with what you're saying. There's a definition for a word that I have tattooed on me, and I can never remember the beautiful way that it was done, but I completely agree with you where it's like I find myself a lot of the times really like soaked up in like the melancholy of a lot of things, and I think when I focus on melancholy, it really makes me like reevaluate and then figure out what's good in my life. And I have this word metanoia tattooed on me, and it means a change in one's way of life resulting from penitence or spiritual conversion. So it's about like looking back on your guilt and your bad shit and finding how to grow from it. And to me, that's exactly what you're saying. Like with your lyrics are coming from a sad place and moving forward from that. I really appreciate.
I also at the same time wouldn't say that there's a single lyric on this that is sad.
No, you know what? I've listened to your music, and I wouldn't ever say that your music is sad music.
Right, and that's something that is very intentional and is, you know, I want people to be able to have the experience to this album in particular that they want to be able to have. Right. Like you can, obviously you're probably not going to feel too depressed listening to it. Like, no, maybe you would, I guess if that's your thing, but.
I've listened to some of your music and, you know, I've listened to it from time to time because of Nani.
Okay, cool.
And he's just brought you up so many times that it's been like, you know, I should check this dude out, you know?
Right on.
And,
thanks, Nani.
And it's not sad to me. It's not sad to me at all. Psychedelic music in general can kind of have this ominous vibe to it, but it's not sad.
Right on. And just to reiterate, that is in no way the intent with it, and that's no way like where it comes from. Like that's really solely just in reference to like the origin of the lyrics and like and I only mentioned that just on the note of like being able to so people can relate to that. You know, everyone has those moments in their life when they just feel overwhelmed or feel like there's something problematic going on. You know, and so finding the ability to just really say to yourself, you know, I'm not going to focus on that.
Right.
I'm going to focus on that instead. That can still be there, but I'm going to focus on that instead.
Right. So I know that you have this feeling because I'm a musician as well. When you finally finish a song and you put it out, however you're going to do it, on the internet, on CD, on record, like you have heard that song and 1,000 different versions of it before the final product. Do you ever think about how you feel about the song versus hearing like somebody who's never heard it before and they're hearing just the final product and how they're going to react? Like, how do you think that what do you think people feel when they hear your music for the first time? Not being you, like how do you perceive, like what do you imagine that they're thinking your music does for them?
Yeah, you know, that's probably a hard question for
It's a
for
super
anyone.
hard question for anybody. So there's no right answer, but it's just interesting to hear your take on what you think people hear for the first time.
What do I think people hear? All right, let me put myself in someone's shoes really quick. Let's see. I'm like,
This
you
is
know,
an
you have
int-
people flash before your eyes, like telling you like things people have told you.
Yeah.
It's like trying to forget about that. What I would think that it'd be super chill and
Chill.
that I could like just put it in my headphones and not have to worry about anything. But then it'd be a sort of I think that I would find that the more I listen to it, the more details I would find in it. But that wasn't the important part upon the first listen.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Exactly. No,
Okay.
lots of my favorite music is the same exact way. Same exact way.
Cool.
So you've cycled through, I mean, you've been in a lot of bands, and music has obviously been a huge part of your life. And was music one of the reasons why you decided to do Cal State Long Beach?
Oh yeah, sorry. So I'm a fucking space cadet, just first off. But,
Me too, buddy. Me too.
That was the whole point of talking about choir.
I don't know.
Yeah, choir was how I ended up down here in the first place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I did choir in high school, and then that choir director introduced me to the choir director down here. I did my audition. I got in as a vocal major. That's the connection there.
Oh, right. You did. Yeah, you did say the vocal major part,
maybe
but I didn't make the connection.
I said it really fast.
So, wow. That's crazy. And your friend just basically said, or your friend was in choir and you were like, what the fuck are you doing in choir? And then now you like make your college decision based on choir.
Exactly.
Wow, funny, man.
Yeah, that's weird.
So, you live in Long Beach now. What do you see for the Long Beach scene? Like, upcoming? Because I'm somebody that has been interested in Long Beach and their bands. I think they have a lot of great bands out there right now. My lockout, where I practice, is over there. I've been thinking about moving there. I print t-shirts for people over there. But what do you see happening for Long Beach in the next 5 years?
Good things, but there's a condition, and that's that people recognize that they have to be active in it, you know? Like, and you know, I'm guilty of it too. Everyone's guilty of it. Like, I've definitely stayed home plenty of times when I've thought to myself, "Oh, I should go out and do that thing."
Yeah.
And it's not about the times that same thing as like I was saying before. It's not about the times that you don't go out. It's about the times that you do go out.
Yeah.
Those times you do go out, like buy a fucking CD from one of the bands, buy a poster, or like stick around for all three bands, or even if you can only stay for one band, like at least talk to the other bands or something like that. Just like make an effort to be a part of the scene.
Thank you.
Like that's really the simplest thing I think.
Yeah.
But I honestly see really good things. There's been a lot of support from the city for music lately.
How so?
Just more festivals. They've been letting more of that happen. There's been more like city events happening.
More than when you
More
got
than when
there?
I moved here.
Okay.
More than when I moved here, and more than 5 years ago, even, let's say. But definitely there should be very, 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 very much more of that.
Yeah.
I think that we are behind in terms of that.
What, like maybe compared to LA?
No, compared to other states. in
Other
general.
states?
Like just other states is a silly thing to say. To other like large cities.
Like Austin. Austin's got a crazy.
I could pick off the list. Like there's
That's
plenty
funny
of places
that
there's a lot
California
happening.
is late.
I mean, like we were talking about earlier with the New American dudes.
Yeah.
Like in LA, like it's hard to get into places to play and stuff like that.
Too
sometimes.
dense.
It's the same thing in Long Beach. Like there's only a handful of places. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm the last person that's ever gonna talk smack on the Long Beach scene. Like I love Long Beach.
There's a difference between talking smack and being honest.
Yeah,
though.
just being honest. Like there should be way more places to play.
Mm-hmm.
There should be way more places for different levels of musicians to play.
Mm-hmm.
There should just be way more places for people to meet up and experience music in any capacity together.
That's so funny to me. I'm not saying you're wrong at all, but because I live in Fullerton, where it's nothing compared to Long Beach. Like, if I want to go see great music, the way that it goes, it's either Santa Ana, Long Beach, LA, or Pomona sometimes, for what's around here.
Because
but
at the Continental Bar, though, that place is tight.
That place is tight, but it's Fullerton does not have what Long Beach has.
I hear you, though. I hear you.
And so it's interesting to hear your take on it because you're a Long Beach dude.
Yeah, and it's kind of a quote unquote entitled position, I suppose, when you put it in that context. But like for the reputation Long Beach has as like a music capital of California in a way. Mm-hmm. Like I just wish there was more.
I know. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So much great music has come out of Long Beach that you almost expect there to be more for musicians in Long Beach.
Exactly.
I totally agree.
But
that's a good way of putting it.
Can I add something onto that? And I really firmly believe like if you're going to complain about something, like you better be doing something about it. And so I book music over at Rebel Bite. Like I still do. Like I used to work there. I haven't worked there for a few years now, but like the owner and I are still friends. Mm-hmm. He asked me if I would help him book some music over there.
Sure.
And I thought I almost turned him down, And then I was at the time thinking about how much I wanted there to be more spots to play, and how much more I wish that I could just go and play like in a coffee shop, like just with no pressure for a couple hours or something like that. And then I was like, oh shit, well here's this opportunity to really do that. Mm-hmm. So, there you go. Like fucking, that's a spot.
Right.
So if anyone out there wants to play at Rebel Bite, let me know.
No, I understand what you're saying because like, I'm not trying to lick my own butthole here, but like,
I am.
Yeah. No, but like, as far as I know, nobody in Fullerton or Orange County even, if I'm unaware of this, please somebody let me know. But I'm not aware of any other podcast that's talking to other bands and getting bands from Long Beach and getting bands from Pasadena and from Downey and from, all across to come and talk and share their stuff. And what I really felt here is that I love rock and roll so much, and rock and roll is not the number one thing in America right now. It isn't like it's hip hop and rap and all that. That's what's going on. And I really felt when I was talking to these people, these creative people, that like there's stuff to talk about. There's bands that need to be shared. And Fullerton, we have some like an okay reputation with music. We have No Doubt and fucking oh man, Social Distortion and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, I wanted to capture what's going on right now. And you and a lot of other bands are so great from other areas. And there's just, like, that void. And nobody's talking with these bands and, like, letting them share their thing. And so the best thing that I could ever hope to do, besides myself, promoting myself, is talking with great bands and showcasing stuff around Southern California in this area. And I just... like, we never met before tonight.
Right, yeah.
But I've listened to your music, and now hopefully other people are gonna check you out and like what you're about and listen to your stuff.
Well, that means the world. And like I said, it's the same thing. Like you're out there being a part of it.
Right.
Like even though you're not physically in a space where you can go see X band, Y band, Z band any given night, you're fucking out here doing it. Right. You're inviting people out to you.
Well, let me put it this way. Like I can get this vibe from most musicians, and I believe this is the same with you. Like, you would be writing music even if nobody listened to it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I would be doing the same thing.
I'd probably be writing better music even.
Maybe. No. But we would be writing music regardless of if people listened. And it's exciting and important to me that other people do listen. And like, even when I like show music to Tess, my girlfriend, it's like I almost feel like I'm annoying her sometimes. She really cares about me and my music, but I show her like the rough drafts of things, you know. It's not a fine polished thing. And then when she listens to something and she likes it, I really love that. But I would still write that music just for me, even if nobody heard it.
Yeah.
And I love that dudes like you are willing to drive from Long Beach to come out here and talk for an hour about who gives a fuck. Just because you care about your music, you care about the music scene. I feel that there's a growing scene happening in Southern California. Do you feel the same way?
I do feel the same way.
Like,
I really do.
Within the past 3 years, I feel like there's been this like engine that's kicked up for music in Southern California. And I feel like it was not dead before. There was exciting things happening, but it wasn't picking up energy in the way that we could make money off of it now. But I think it's possible for great musicians to make money now.
I hope so. I hope that you're right.
Me too.
Yeah,
And I'm not even a great musician. I'm just like having fun doing this thing. But I think like there is an opportunity now to make money for rock and roll again.
Hey, really, I hope that you're right with that, and it doesn't come down to that, but that's something that is just not necessary for everybody. And that's what I say. Like, if you go out to a show, like just buy a CD. It's like most of the time bands are selling their stuff for so much less than it's actually worth.
Oh,
like
hands down.
My friend Curtis's band, Curtis, Mark, a bunch of these dudes from back like 2010. Their band was called No Oblo. They were a band for
No Oblo?
Yeah, they're called No
That's
Oblo.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they were fantastic, and they were a band for maybe like 3 years or so. But their album I still have in my car, and I listen to it all the time, and shit like that. Like, how much did they sell that to me for? No, I'm cool, thank you. How much did they sell it to me for? Maybe like $5.
And it's been your playlist for years.
Yeah, I've had it in my car for so long.
Yeah,
and like, if something happened to it, I'd probably hit them up to see if I can get the recordings even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's stuff like that. Like, music, it's a cultural thing. People need to value music on that artistic, cultural level again.
Yeah.
And like Napster did all that great stuff. And like, well, I'm not fucking talking about Napster. But like
I haven't heard somebody talk about Napster in a long time.
But like that was the start of it. That was the start of it.
No,
it really was.
Music sharing.
Yeah, it really was like the start of it.
Oh, have you not heard this band from New York?
Right. Exactly.
You never would have heard that if it wasn't for Napster.
Exactly. It's like that started all that change, and that was a beautiful thing. But the backlash of that is that culturally we started not valuing music as much. And that's kind of what I mean when I say other states. Like, I have the good fortune from my job. I get to travel to now Pennsylvania, to Philadelphia a decent amount, to New Orleans a decent amount. Last year I got to travel to New York a good amount. And the way people experience music out there, and this is more so in Philadelphia, New Orleans.
Really quick, where do you work?
I work for a company called Raw Artists.
Okay, so why do you travel?
I travel because I direct showcases for them.
Okay.
So it's like art and music showcases.
Got it.
But they just have a different way of that being a part of their lives. Like, it just means more. In some way, it's
on the East Coast. Do you think so?
Yeah, in the East Coast and in at least in New Orleans, like I'm saying, it's a very limited view that I have. I'm not saying that I'm like this like world.
I'm not saying
person or
you're wrong,
like
but it's interesting that you can even find a difference. They value music differently there. Really,
they really do, and they don't. Maybe they're not even necessarily aware of it. Maybe I'm just aware of it because I get to like just pop in for like a few days. You know,
I did feel that way about my buddies who came down from Austin, Texas. This band Sherry. Great musicians that I just didn't think really realized how great they were. And they loved music. Music was their life. And I don't know anybody like that here. So it's interesting that you found that by, traveling for your job.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to think about.
I know. It's music and the arts in general are just fucking weird, but I want to call your band 3 different things now that I know all the way people say it, but
called DCHAV,
DCHAV. That's how I'm going to say it from now on.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to say it any other way. DCHAV.
But yeah, I got some other stuff for you here.
Yeah, you brought a bunch of stuff.
The CD, the photography in here is by my friend Christian, and this is the front right there. The front is by my friend Akira Usagi. There's a collaboration between me and him.
I want that doily.
I got you some stickers here. Right?
Thank you so much, man. You are only you are the third person to bring me anything, and I really, really appreciate it. Iris brought me stickers. Nani got me what we're recording on right now. And he left his fucking mic here, which is crazy, and I'm not giving it back, by the way. But you're the only person that has actually brought me their music, and this is going to go right in my car.
That's cool.
And I'm going to listen to it.
Right on.
This album is dedicated to our friends who become our family. Ooh, that's sweet. Some pins. But what does DCHAV have going on in the future? Promote yourself and give everybody a chance to see you live. Where are you going to be at?
Okay, so
I love that this is just your face. I'm so sorry.
That's just my face.
This is so just hilariously great.
If you go to
I love this.
If you go to our website, when you're on a desktop, the little button that you can see at the top, in the tab, that's the picture.
Oh, okay. It's great.
But okay, our next show, Silver Lake Lounge, May 29th, Tuesday, May 29th, Silver Lake Lounge with When We Met Music. They're just called When We Met, goddamn it. When We Met, Sounds Like Disco, and Headbed. I think, they're called Headbed. After that, we got a show coming up in Long Beach, but right now we're just kind of going to work on some recordings.
Cool.
I have some stuff coming up just on that note,
Yeah.
I have some remixes of Eucalyptus coming soon. That's the first time I've mentioned that. So,
woo, you got it here first, folks.
So if you like house music and you like album Eucalyptus, got some house remixes.
Yeah, I do drugs.
On the way. Actually, you know what I wanted to mention that I didn't yet, and I'm fucking super proud of this. Live recordings from our album release party for this.
No way.
Our album release show was in November. We just put them on Spotify.
Wow. From your album release? Why aren't more bands doing that? That's a great idea. Live recordings from your album release show.
Yeah,
that's a great, and I've never heard anybody doing that.
I feel like maybe I've heard someone do it, but
you're the first. Anyway, but that's a great idea. That's going to be interesting because that's such an intimate look at the first time you've presented your album to the public.
Right.
Wow, that's intense, dude. I would totally
It's on Spotify.
Good musicians, man.
It's on Spotify. You just check it on out.
So if somebody's gonna, if somebody has been listening this far already, and they're gonna listen to one song by you to get into your music, what song should they listen to? I've never asked that question before, so
one song.
If they're gonna the first song, not the only song they're ever gonna hear, but if they're gonna get introduced to you, what song do you want them to hear?
Can I give a small sidebar for that?
You can do whatever you want.
Because this album, I'm a lover of all fidelities of music, and this was intentionally a really, mid-fi record. Mm-hmm. There was no point that we thought to ourselves, this needs to be super crisp and clean. Mm-hmm. The last track is a bonus track that I recorded separately with my friend who now sings in the band as well, Nick Medina. The rest I did with my friend Dr. Ka, and I did it on a looper pedal myself. So if I had to say one song in the future, if you want to know what the band sounds like, check out the song All the Light, because that's the best live representation. Mm-hmm. But just in terms of who I am as an artist, I would say take a look at the song So Clear off of the album. That's definitely my personal favorite. Tell me if you want me to, is it a close second with that? That's the first track on the album, but So Clear is a pretty great representation.
Great, man. I'm very excited that you came by, and I'm super thankful that you stuck around and we started the podcast late, and you've been so accommodating to me. And I really appreciate it. Man. Most musicians are very sweet, just like you have been, but I still appreciate it. And before we close this podcast out, what band should people be listening to?
Okay, I was waiting for that question because I heard you asked the other guys that.
Yeah, you walked. Oh yeah, you walked in the middle or at the very end of that podcast, which was so great that you guys knew each other.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that later on. Okay, so Melody's Echo Chamber for sure. Melody's Echo Chamber,
dude, fuck me.
Yeah, I love them. I listen to Washed Out a good amount.
Also love Washed Out.
I listen to a lot of Nora Jones, man. Like, what can I say? I love Nora Jones.
No, dude, she's hot, but she's also a great musician.
Patsy Cline, listen to a lot of Patsy Cline.
It's a great classic, yeah, for sure.
I love Tame Impala. Can't go wrong with Tame Impala. Led Zeppelin, Mars Volta, Isley Brothers. Pretty much just like go back to 1995 and put on 102.5 K-Don and just whatever they're playing.
What?
Back then
102.5 K-Don? The fuck
That's
is
just
that?
all 90s R&B shit, you know?
From
like,
what city? What county?
That's Salinas. That's Salinas right there.
Oh, dude.
That's Bay Area. Like, that's not Bay Area.
Dude,
like
Salinas?
Mid California.
Should I tell this story, Tess?
I gotta hear it now.
Okay. We got time. So, we're going on a road trip. I love Tess very much, but I usually plan everything. Especially at that point in our relationship, I planned most road trips and things like that. Not because she couldn't or anything, but this was one of the first times that she did. And it wasn't to her fault. It was that we were under 21. So she planned a bunch of places to stay. And when we got there, they said, fuck you. You're not 21. You have to be 21 to stay here. And we were like 19.
And we were moving all my stuff down, too.
We were moving all our stuff down.
That's crazy.
All I remember is somehow we ended up staying in Salinas.
It wasn't that bad.
It was a pretty shitty motel.
That
motel.
Sounds I'm not surprised. Hey, no.
Also,
put some respect on the Salinas, of course, but you know.
No, not to mean it, but like it was just.
Yeah, it's just
that moment was crazy. I, for one of like the handful of times in my life, like actually, when we were partying at that hotel, I drank and drove, and just I have this guilt feeling about Salinas. I also broke her car mirror. It was just.
I have some guilt feelings about Salinas as well.
Yeah. So,
but those are a little bit deeper.
we won't do that to you now. Was her name Selena from Salinas?
Oh man, I wish.
I feel like it was. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
And thank you for bringing me some of your stuff. I mean,
Please
you were
enjoy.
just saying that, you know, when you go to a show, buy stuff from people because you're buying it for way less than it's really worth. And the fact that you brought me 2 CDs, a bunch of fucking stickers, and some pins.
Yeah, you know, because it's just like
it's very sweet.
It's a gift, you know, and that's why people do that in the first place, because they want to give that as a gift.
I got
that's what it is.
A T-shirt for you.
Hey, well,
so
I'll wear
we'll
it
make
a
little trade here.
I'll wear it every day for a year.
But I want to get you on the future here with Nani.
Cool. Hey,
on the podcast because I feel like you guys would be really great people to kind of showcase more of Long Beach stuff. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. And just thanks for being a part of this.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Okay. Take it easy.